Okay, I've had a driving lesson recently, and in this driving lesson, I got uh, one minor and a one serious or dangerous. I didn't know the rules of the road. It was a crossroad, and I was turning right and crossing the path of that crossroad. Whereas, and I did this even though there were two cars, the first one going straight, or seeming to go straight, but then took a right last second, and then the other one going right. I even remember what car types it were. They were both Honda Civics. I forgot what the minor was for, but yeah, those were the scores of the test. Solid, solid drive. Felt very comfortable behind the wheel, and I really believed I was doing well. My abilities were really up there, even though I didn't think they were going to be, because I haven't had a drive in a couple of weeks. So I thought I was going to be rusty, but in my opinion, I drove really well today. I thought I was going to get a serious over not following the speed limit, because there was one road which I thought was a 40 when in reality it was a 30. But yeah, I've just got to remember that when you go into new roads, you could see a speed limit change there. And also, you give right of way to people who aren't crossing the path of the road on crossroads. So if you're turning right, you give way to people who are going straight or going left. And if the both of you are turning right, then you've got to go and negotiate that properly, either offside to offside or near side to near side. I've forgotten which way is which, but yeah, either passing each other by around the back of each other or the front of each other. Front passenger side seat, well, yeah, the front passenger seat of each other, or going around the back on the driver's side of each car. That may be offside to offside, I don't know. I do need to know though. I was going to say I don't know and I don't care. That's what I was thinking in my mind, but I do care. I need it. Not only for the test, but just for driving in general, seeing as I want to be a safe and smooth driver. A part of being a safe and smooth driver means I know what I'm doing. I know the rules of the road. It's a part of it. I know the terminology and I know the rules of the road. So I do need to know that. My driving instructor was saying that I can do tell me questions on the car, which I can use to help me learn, which would be fine. I've got to go get jerry can. He was saying I could get that from a Tesco, and then also go and get fuel from the Tesco. I wasn't sure which one to get, because the fuel in the car's unleaded, so I was unsure if it was unleaded diesel or unleaded petrol. But there's no such thing as unleaded diesel, according to my instructor. So it'd just be the unleaded I'm getting. There's a small petrol station, which I'll go to instead of the Tesco, because if I'm to go to a Tesco, I'd rather know what I'm doing in a big space like that and not waste time. The main reason why I'd rather go to the small petrol station for now rather than the Tesco is because I'd much rather feel more comfortable at a big place. Going to the small petrol station would mean that I'm a lot more sure of myself, because I would have had experience of filling up the jerry can. And I'd know what to do, I'd know what the process is, whereas at a big shop, I wouldn't know what the process is, and because many people would be wanting to get their petrol, their diesel, their unleaded and go, I'd much rather go to the small place first than a big place, so that I don't feel on edge, I don't feel anxious when going to that big place, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm therefore not sure of myself. But then again, there was one thing that one of Goku Pump's associates or friends during a workout on one of Goku Pump's videos on YouTube, he said, even if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going into it like I can. And that I didn't have that sort of mindset when thinking about this right now, or thinking about it back then. It was, I'd rather go to the small petrol station to make sure that I know what I'm doing. And then from there, I'll know what I'm doing. I'll have a clear idea of what I'm doing if I were to go to a bigger shop like Tesco. The driving instructor was also saying that you could get a jerry cans at Tesco. I don't know, I'd rather go Halfords. I don't know. Because I don't know if jerry cans will actually, I don't know if they'd actually sell jerry cans, but I probably wouldn't go because I built an anxiety over going to Tesco for reasons I can't explain, just for the sake of anonymity, for reasons I can't explain. I've spoken about this indirectly, but that is as far as I'm going to go in terms of explaining it, because I don't want to keep some anonymity and keep my life at least somewhat private. If I felt comfortable with revealing certain details like that, then one thing may lead on to another, and I don't want that at all. I was very unsure. I was unsure of myself at the self-checkout. I didn't know what I was doing, and I felt on edge because of that. One time when I was going shopping, and I think what could be happening is that it's not only the thing that I'm not going to explain, but there's also that sense of feeling on edge that I created after not knowing how to use the self-checkout. It's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm feeling a bit, not nervous, but anxious, I would say, on edge, uneasy, because I didn't know what I was doing. And I think I was thinking, what could people be thinking of me? Not verbatim, but those sorts of thoughts. I didn't want to look like an idiot who didn't know how to use the self-checkout, because I didn't want to experience any embarrassment, because I'd be uncomfortable. When in reality, though, it would only be uncomfortable if I allowed it to be. There are just going to be some things I don't know at times, but I'm not going to let that stop me. Fine. Actually, to be fair, could switch it up and go to more supermarkets. I predominantly go to Aldi. I predominantly shop at Aldi for the cheap prices, and another reason I'm not going to explain. So I could switch it up. Maybe get my salmon at Tesco, because they may be doing cheaper prices over there for the salmon specifically. I don't really know, but it is worth looking out for. It is worth looking out for. Yeah, something that my driving instructor said in terms of like the supermarkets and that. And I was thinking, what? What are you talking about? He named the shop. I was thinking, what? But then, yeah, I remember now. I remember where it is. But anyway, let's actually get into the video now. Failure is not an option. I was unsure of myself. I was unsure of myself if I could pass, because I had lessons on a weekly basis rather than twice a week. But there are some weeks now which I've got lessons twice a week rather than once a week. So I have quite a few lessons where I can have mock tests, so that I'm sure of myself and that I have a clear idea of, okay, I'm getting these sorts of scores in my mock test, so I'll be more than okay. When it comes to the actual test, the real thing, which people will pedestalize and then therefore feel so nervous about, it's only just another driving lesson, goodness me. I'll take it easy on myself though. However, if I do fail, I'll just keep on having lessons and keep on taking the practical driving test until I pass. So it's fine. It's fine, seriously. There's no need to stress because I know I just won't give up. Even if that means I spend a little bit more money than I would have otherwise done if I'd passed the test in the first time, I can still take it again and again and again until I actually do pass the practical test. There's no shame in it. I'll do what I have to do. If I don't pass the test the first time, I think I will though if I keep on passing the mock test from now on, because I'm basically completely ready for it. Practically speaking, I mean, I drive well. I'm a smooth driver. I drive well. I don't really make any faults. They're rare. I rarely make faults in my I rarely have faults in my driving that my driving instructor picks up anyway. And during my mock test, if there was anything that I thought I could have done better, I kept it to myself, which is a skill I'll need for when I actually do the real thing. So on that front, I'm okay. I'm fine. But I don't think I would have been if I only had once a week lessons, because the test is coming up in less than a month now. I certainly will announce when I've passed, but right now I know I do want to learn more related to the show me tell me questions and just make sure that my theory knowledge is okay here and there, so that when it's time for the test I'm very sure of myself. I know that I not only want to do the test, but I feel comfortable in my ability and my knowledge, knowing that I know the rules of the road, and I know that I know the rules of the road, and I can trust in my ability to drive. I don't even have to think about it. It'd just be a matter of having another drive, another one of the many drives that I'd have. And I don't need to be any more strict on myself than I already am, because there is a thing is trying too hard. If I just put in the same amount of effort that I have been during these normal lessons, then I'll pass the test, no problem. I think I'd fail if I pedestalized the test and I didn't create myself a long-term vision, because I'd be thinking of that as the end, the last thing I'd do, when in reality it wouldn't be. This is no more than an extremely small piece of the long-term puzzle where I'd just be driving for life. And certainly be taking lessons after this, not only so that I know how to drive in numerous environments, but also because the car I drive's automatic, and I'd be taking extra lessons so that I don't forget how to drive in a manual, so that when I do get the manual Golf GTI in a couple of years' time, which I planned, I'll know how to drive a manual and I'll still be able to trust in my ability, not only with the car controls, but I'll also just know how to drive in the sorts of environments I'd be driving in. Yeah. Me passing my practical driving test has been a long time coming, and it's about time I move from this stage in which I'm a learner driver to getting that full driver's license and then driving from one area to another. It's about time I move from this stage, and I've been in this stage for so long now, like less than 2 years at least, less than 2 years at a minimum. It's time to move on, and if I allow it to be, that could be very out of the comfort zone, because I've been in this stage for so long, and I don't know what it's like to drive on my own. I legally can't do that. I can't drive unaccompanied because I'm a learner driver at the moment, but I have to move on. I have to move on. I have to move on so that I can progress in my life. I know that deep down I feel happy when I pass the test, but in my mind I was thinking of saying that may be stressful or something along those lines. I find it stressful. I disagree. I'd instead say that I may think that because I'd be in my comfort zone. This right here, for now, at this point in time, being a learner driver, that is very much in the comfort zone. Because I've been at this stage for such a long time. I've had my provisional license for such a long time. And it's time to move on. It really is time to move on, man. So that I can progress in my life and allow myself to become more self-reliant. Gotta remember why I'm actually wanting to pass my test in the first place. So that I can become more self-reliant, and me doing this would mean I can drive around any area I want, really, and I'll be able to I'll be able to drive a rental van for when I move out. I've got to reconnect with that long-term vision, otherwise I will mentally feel uncomfortable, and I may start having thoughts that are filled with fear, like what could happen if, or just what would happen if I did this, or I may do this on the test, when in reality there would be no reason to stress out. I believe in my practical ability and also my theory knowledge. It's time to get it even more together, man, to learn the theory, the show me, tell me questions, and to also fill up my car tank. I know what sort of fuel I need to fill it up with, and I know where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to Halford to get myself a jerry can, and then I'm going to go to the small petrol station so that I learn how to actually fill up the petrol properly. So that if I were to go to a big shop like Tesco, for example, I know what I'm doing. Yeah. If there's any piece of advice I give myself right now, it would be allow myself to feel comfortable. Even though what I've just said would imply that I'm feeling uncomfortable or uneasy, that genuinely is the piece of advice that I give myself. Keep on working towards comforting myself, really. I'm not talking about self-care or anything like that, no. I do this by becoming more educated. I do this by allowing myself to have more trust in my theory knowledge and practical ability. That's how I plan to make myself feel more comfortable, so that when it is time for that test, in my head I was thinking that dreaded test, but I think what it is, if anything, is not the test itself, but what we may make it out to be in our minds. That's genuinely where the root of it could be. It being all of the fear that we may create towards such things, towards what we'd deem as big events, when in reality they're no more than just a small piece of the puzzle, a small piece of the bigger picture. And for me, this is what passing the practical test really is. It's no more than a small piece in the bigger picture of becoming the safest and smoothest driver I can be. Even if that means that I'm not doing it as early as I could have, even if that means that some people would have been doing it since they're 17, since they're 18, potentially because they had it more together than me in that front, so be it. These are consequences that I have to face. because of the actions that I've taken in my life. I've done this to myself. Yeah, I absolutely could have passed when I was 17 years old, but at that time I was way too uneducated on the right things like my nutrition, my hydration, exercise, and so on. And just what matters, what truthfully matters in life in general. I didn't know about self-improvement at that age. I only found out a year later, which is when I really started taking driving lessons. But then coronavirus happened. At this point, it's been so long that I don't mind calling it coronavirus rather than corona. It's not even that big a deal, man. It really isn't. But anyway, I like to make myself feel more comfortable by educating myself more and more consistently. Well, just be very generally, just being able to trust in my theory knowledge, my practical ability more. My practical ability is up there, but my theory knowledge does need some touching up here and there. And also, going to get that jerry can and filling up the car with the unleaded, that's gonna help. I will feel more comfortable because I would have put the fuel in the tank. I know that's something that I need to do. I really want to do that because the tank is on dead zero, man. It's on dead zero. And I've just had enough of it. I've had enough of potentially not being able to start the car because the fuel is that low. I don't know how it works. If it gets on dead zero, will the car be able to start? I don't know, but I fear that it won't. That's why I really want to get this fuel. If I do, in my mind, I'll have it more put together. I'll have it more together because I know that this is something that I want to do and I haven't yet got it done, but I can do it tomorrow. I was going to call this video failure is not an option, but I've decided to call it I will pass my test because I refuse to give up, because I now think that that is a more apt title for this video, because that is the end mindset that I've come up with and that I want to take with me more than the failure is not an option mindset. Because I don't want to stress and make myself and hold my basically push stress on myself and say I can't fail, but in a restrictive way. I'd much rather to me, that way of thinking, how I thought about it, was restrictive more than freedom giving, whereas this I will pass my test because I refuse to give up mindset, that's a way of thinking that I've come up with that is which is what I want to take away with me, rather than the failure is not an option mindset, because that mindset, that way of thinking, was more restrictive due to how I was thinking about it. To me, saying that I will pass my test because I refuse to give up, that is giving myself the freedom that I already had, but took away from myself by saying that failure is not an option. It's like how the gym instructor, boot camp tutors, or whatever you want to call it, course tutors, they're saying that the exam has a 100% pass rate because we'll just keep on taking the test until you pass. And this is the sort of mindset I'm giving myself by saying, if I fail the test the first time, then I'll just keep taking it until I pass. So there's no need to worry or stress out, because there always is a second time. If I don't pass the first time, there is a second time. There is. It's not a one-shot opportunity that if you fail, you just don't have it, or if you succeed, there you go, that's great. But it's not a one-time thing. If I do fail, I can absolutely take it again. I don't have much else to say for the video. I just want to end the video off with this note. Got two things to say. Like, it is okay. It absolutely is okay. Just allow myself to become more educated. Do those show me, tell me questions on the car. It's cool. And that's number one. Number two, if I don't pass the driving test the first time, then I could just do it a second, a third, a fourth, until I do pass. It's fine. I think where the nerves would come from is me thinking that it's a real driving test rather than a fake driving test. When in reality, the both of them are the same. The process is with both a mock test and a proper or real driving test, practical driving test, is you get a certificate at the end of it, or maybe you don't if you fail the test. But even if I don't pass the first time, doesn't mean I failed. If I don't pass the first time, it doesn't mean I failed. The only time I failed is when I've decided to give up, when I've decided to stop putting in an effort, when I've decided to stop putting in an effort towards passing. That's when I failed. But if I don't pass the test, that doesn't mean I failed. That's where the mindset, that's where I'd be screwing myself over. And that's where the nerves would come from. That's where the fearful thoughts, what if I were to botch up the test, or any sorts of thoughts that I may have like that on the real test, that I would have had on the real test if I didn't think things through. They would have come from that, thinking that I've failed if I don't pass the test, but in reality, that's just not the case. That's very stress relieving physically. Fine. Yeah, it really is go time. The third thing I'd say is to allow myself to get it together, even more than I have done already. Go to Halfords, make that trip. Go to Halfords and get that jerry can, and go to the small petrol station and get that unleaded petrol. Do it. Do what you have to do. Have it more together, man. Do what you have to do. Just make yourself feel more comfortable in that regard. And I really want to end it off with that note. Just because I haven't passed doesn't mean I've failed. The only time I've failed is when I've decided to give up. And the only time I failed is the time that I've quit, when I'm facing what I believe is adversity and me not getting the results I'd want, which would be passing the test. But just because I haven't passed doesn't mean that I've failed. The only time I've failed is when I've given up, and when I've stopped trying, when I've stopped making an effort. That's when I've failed. That's when I've failed to do right by myself. But when you say you failed, you wouldn't really make it clear as to what. It'd be, oh, you failed the test. But even if I do fail the test on the day, listen to the mindset on the day. Whereas with the mock test, it's just another day. I'm becoming more aware of that mindset, of that fear-creating mindset. Pedestalizing it, thinking one day out of all the other days are special, when in reality they're not. But yeah, Just because I failed the test doesn't mean I failed. I haven't failed to do right by myself. I haven't failed to do right by myself if I've failed the test, but I'm still making the effort to pass. Alright, I'm going to end the video there because I can feel relieved after thinking this way about the driver test that I'm soon going to pass. But anyway, I'll leave it at that for now. If there are any other notes or updates that I want to make outside of when I do actually pass the test on the day, then I will. But for now, that's it. Maybe you enjoyed, maybe you did learn something valuable, but I'm going to leave it at that for now. I'm gone. I'm feeling very stress relief here, as usual. It seems like that's where I feel stress either increasing or reducing. But yeah, if it increases sometimes, from time to time, that is normal. It's not all the time. It fluctuates. Sometimes I feel relief, sometimes stress seems to increase without me even realizing it. But that's a part of it. That's normal, that's healthy for it to fluctuate, but it's not extreme. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that because I feel very happy with the thoughts that I've had with this video. So I'm going to go. I'll see you lot in the next one, man. Peace. Let yourself speak your mind, man. Speak your mind. And therefore, and if you do that, you give yourself a place to release your thoughts and release them without censoring yourself and allowing yourself to truthfully say what's on your mind and censoring yourself when you deem appropriate. That's the way. That is one of the main things that you could do to allow yourself to live how you want to live instead of what your parents and your siblings or families, friends have taught you how to live, when in reality you know that that's not the path you want to take. Don't end up like Bella Hadid, who wanted to do horse riding but then did modelling instead. Don't be like that. You will end up like that. You're equivalent of that if you don't allow yourself to speak your mind truthfully. That was the route I was going down when I didn't give myself the outlet, this outlet, which is always here. I was going down that route through going to university. But now that I've given myself this outlet to truthfully speak my mind and censor myself when I deem appropriate, I'm now really getting it together. And rather ironically, it seems like my parents are respecting me more than when I once was, when I was following the path that they were trying to set me upon through going to uni and so on. But yeah, I'm going to end the video at that. The reason why I say that is because it seems like my parents like me more. We argue a lot less because I'm going on the path that I am choosing for myself and that I'm carving out for myself than one that I don't want to take that they were trying to set me on. Potentially because they want to believe that they've succeeded as parents and that's the only way they know how. Maybe through that generic education, schooling route. That's not for me, man. My life's not about just exams and trying to go out of my way to prove to others how valuable I am. I want to prove to myself how valuable I am and prove to myself that I am self-reliant and that I'm on the path I truthfully want to be on. So that's what I want to do for myself, and this would not be possible without me giving myself this outlet and using this outlet to be able to release my thoughts every single day. This would not happen if I wasn't doing this every single day. No way, no chance. But yeah, I'm gone. I'll see you lot in the next one. Peace. Let's see where we are 10 years from now. 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 7.5 and 10. Let's see. Due to doing right by myself now, let's see where we're at. Whatever it is, wherever I'll be in 10 years time from now, it's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing. I don't know what it will be, but I really do believe it will far exceed my expectations because it would have all added up. Like how Darren Hardy talks about it in the compound effect. It genuinely could have compounded all of my efforts. All of the actions I would have taken would compound into something I could have never dreamed of. Never. The future's bright. But it wouldn't be if I didn't take these actions. Slowly but surely, gradually, bit by bit, day by day, get it more and more together. Maybe not 1% per day improvements, but at least improvements, generally speaking, month by month, slowly, bit by bit, slowly but surely. Wherever I'll be in the future, it will be amazing, absolutely amazing, and I'll make sure of it. And if there's any advice that I give to people who are looking for it, it'd be, please do right by yourself to do the same and to believe the same, and then eventually in the future to get the same. See you lot later.